Hi, I'm Benjamin Curtis from School of Seven Bells, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
Welcome to the Interview Show. This is Scott Wood, your host. I'm sitting here backstage with Ben from School of Seven Bells. Hi, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's a drizzly day outside.
It is, but it's fitting my mood right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. My name's Scott Wood. You're listening to the Interview Show. We just heard The Night, which is the first track off Ghostory. I would love it, Ben, if you could tell me a little bit about that track.
The Night is the first song on Ghostory, and I think it's the first song that really came together as a whole. And ironically, the last song on the record, When You Sing, is the last song that came together as a whole. So it's kind of a cool chronology that way. I think we had this idea going into writing the record that we wanted to do something that was naked, emotionally speaking, and intense and faster and more driving and more in your face and more but at the same time where it was more like emotional and heart-wrenching and all of these things, we also wanted to be more fun. and something more propulsive, you know, and we, I think we talked about all of that, not all at once, but maybe, you know, over the course of, you know, a few weeks or something like that. And, you know, we'd kind of painted this picture in each other's minds. And then we sat down to write a song, and we wrote The Night just like that. And that was exactly what we were talking about. And I think we had this moment where we said, okay, well, we wrote one good song, so basically the rest of the record can suck at this point, and it's okay. We've made a decent record, because all you need is really one good song on it. I mean, luckily, I think we wrote a few, but it kind of took the pressure off the rest of it, and we're like, all right, we know we got one good one on here.
I like your smile as you say that. That's awesome. All right, so School of Seven Bells, great story behind the name. I was hoping you could tell me what that story is.
Yeah, in long time ago, I was in another band called Secret Machines, and Ali played in a band called On Air Library, and we both were chosen by our friends in this band Interpol to open up a tour for them. And I didn't, you know, bands are pretty shy usually early on in the tour, and I hadn't been speaking. Well, eventually, about halfway through, I started talking to Ali, and she was like, I want to start a band called School of Seven Bells. I'm over this shit already. Do you want to be in? I was like, I want to play guitar. That's great. And she found the name, I guess, just late. What's that?
How do you go from being super, super shy to being like, let's screw both bands we're in and do something new and cool?
Well, it was, you know, I'm condensing time here. This is like, we're talking about a period of years. It wasn't like that. We got to know each other, and I thought she was cool and had really cool and like ideas about music. And she, you know, I thought, you know, at the time I thought I'd do both, really. So, but she was, I guess, just watching TV late one night and kind of in and out of sleep, and watching some show about pickpocketing and these like theft rings that were just ransacking the East Coast of the United States. And one theory was that they were trained at some school called the School of Seven Bells that teach you how to pickpockets and steal, and with these aluminum lined parkas and all these things. And I think it just resonated. It sounds cool, really. That's all a band name should be, I guess, in the end.
It's a cool story, so I have to ask, how does a school of pickpocketers relate to your music?
It wasn't something we thought about at the time, but I think after the fact, looking back, maybe what drew us to the name was the fact that they took something so dangerous and made it so ceremonial and cool. And, you know, they took it so seriously, and like whatever they were doing, that was their art. And, you know, and it was they were intense enough about it that they were going to go to university. You know, I mean, that's serious. And I mean, I guess that relates to how we feel about music, you know, apart from going to school part. But we, you know, I like that idea.
Your current record is called Ghostory, all one word, and the big story behind the record is that you guys used to be a trio, and now you're a duo.
Well, we made the record as a duo. On stage, we're four now, but it's we in the end, well, about halfway through the tour for the last record, Disconnect from Desire, Ali's sister decided she didn't want to do it, couldn't do it anymore, and split, and we. Of course, weren't gonna stop playing the songs that, you know, she and I wrote, and, you know, we weren't gonna stop. But it was tricky to figure out how we were gonna keep going, because on stage that was a really important element, you know, with all the harmonies that Ali writes and everything, you know, bringing that to life. So I think we were sort of forced to boil our music down to its core essence really quickly, without really overthinking it too much. You know, we had to play a show the next day. You know, the show was on television. It was being taped for network television, and it was crazy. It was this crazy moment. You know, if we had weeks to think about it, I'm sure we would have done it completely differently. But we didn't have a second to think about it. You know, all of a sudden we're on stage. It was Ali and I and a drummer, and at that moment we heard something new in our music that we hadn't heard before. You know, we played it with this sort of like authority and like intensity that we hadn't played it before, and that was really inspiring. And I think from that moment was born this idea of how Ghostory is going to sound. So, you know, I think the change didn't really affect the process. It didn't really affect the chemistry. It didn't affect like our ability to do what we do, but it definitely affected the way that we look at what we do, and it influenced the record for sure.
Okay, so the new record is called Ghostory. I wanted to ask you what ghosts represent to you.
I'm not really so much I'm not a big believer in the supernatural. I think our minds are about as supernatural as anything could possibly be, and to me, ghosts are just those things you can't really let go of, and I think that's what the record is about. It's, you know, it's this idea that like a situation you're in, or someone you knew, or someone you loved, or someone that used to love you even, or doesn't anymore, or whatever the case may be, these sort of ideas follow you in your head, and they almost speak to you in every situation you're in. You know, like every experience you had speaks to you when you're in a new experience, and it you know, and you can speak back or you can ignore it, but they don't go away. And to me, those are the ghosts that follow us around. You know, some of them are more intense than others, and I think there was this idea of giving them just, you know, like giving them legs and giving them feet and bodies and individual personalities, and sort of treating them as humans, and writing songs as like you're dealing with these other people. And that was the idea of Ghostory, where you're sort of exercising them by confronting them and hearing what they have to say and speaking back and hoping that they shut up, I guess.
I have to ask, when was the last time you were haunted?
I'm haunted right this second.
Are you saying you're asked this question a lot?
Actually, no one's ever asked me the last time I was haunted, but I think I might also haunt other people without knowing it too.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Benjamin Curtis from School of Seven Bells, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood. School of Seven Bells, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
All right, you're listening to The Interview Show. This is Scott Wood, your host. You just heard La Fée from the School of Seven Bells. It's the second single off their record, Ghostory. And I have Ben with me. I would love it if you could say a few words about that track.
Yeah, La Fée is like the central character in the record. You know, I think all the songs are really either sung from her perspective or being sung to her from, you know, some ghost that's haunting her's perspective. And you know, it's another one of those things that really encapsulated what we were trying to do with Ghostory. I mean, it's a big song, you know. It's definitely more sort of glorious and full on than a lot of things we've done before, you know. And you know, I think Ali is really, in that song, really self-reflective in a way. And you know, I guess just the emotion of that lyric to me is really beautiful and really honest. And it's something that I don't hear a lot in music that is so intense and visceral. I really love that collision of this sort of vulnerability and a voice. Not vulnerability like cutesy, like you know, delicate, but a vulnerability and like just sort of wearing your heart on your sleeve in a way, but mixing it with music that's really muscular in a way and powerful to carry it along. To me, that's what I really love about that song, and I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Okay, so you guys are both, as you've said, band veterans. And I was thinking about this today because you were talking about the experience that you've had with your third record, and you've sort of come into your own again. But you have been in other bands before, so I was hoping you could talk about what those previous band experiences have brought with you to School of Seven Bells.
It's so new every time, you know. I mean, every time we write a song together, it feels new, you know. It's making music is such a, I mean, as long as it's a creative process, you're creating something new. So it's, you know, there's always something you leave behind, and there's always something you take with you. I think you know, I guess this being, you know, not the first band I've been in, not the first record I made, not the first collaboration I've had even, it's, I think the thing that I take with me is that at the end of the day, I learn more and more that it's just music, and there's some things you can be precious about, and there's some things that you just sort of have to live with, and it's just music, you know. It's fun, and if it's not fun, then don't do it, you know. I think there was a time in my life when I would get so upset over things, and I would get really, really just like, I mean, I still do, but I mean, like times 100, you know what I mean? Just really like live and die about each like sound of every single thing I made. But you know, now it's just, I don't know, I've kind of settled in this place where, not that I settle for less, but I really know how to have fun making music, and it's great.
Would it be fair to say that you do the production side and Ali does the lyric side?
That's perfectly fair.
How do you guys balance out the power dynamic?
Well, I think there's an interesting power dynamic because we give equal power to chance, you know. So there's like a third power there, you know. I mean, there's things that I do, and then there's things that Ali does, and then when we do them together, it turns into something else, and you know, and we sort of listen to what that's produced and sort of react to it, and that's the chance involved, I guess, because you never really know how your idea is going to sound with someone else's, and it's you know, I think we've kind of are in a comfortable place where we both know what we do really well, and we really trust each other now, and that's a cool thing about writing Ghostory was we'd always I would, you know, write something, and then or Ali would write something, and we would sort of give it to the other one, and we'd maybe live with it for a week or two, and then think about what we wanted to do with it, and then give it back. And it was this very, you know, like I guess we'd sort of let these ideas just sort of sit with us, like in our own lives personally, before we would sort of engage the other person's idea. And you know, I think just because of everything that's happened, we couldn't trust each other more musically. You know, we really are into what the other one's doing, and we're really, you know, I'm really excited to hear what she writes, and she's really excited to hear what I write. So we had this idea of just sitting there and, like, I mean, just like good old-fashioned songwriting session, you know.
Cool. Ben, I really appreciate you taking out some time and speaking with me tonight. At the end of the show, I love it when the guest picks one of their songs, talks a little bit about it as I bring up that track.
Okay. I'm gonna pick a song because I'm gonna pick the song "Reappear" because it's like the obvious song that no one would ever play on a radio show. So I'm gonna pick that. It's really beautiful. It's one of my favorite vocal performances of Allie's. We had this idea for that song that we had this idea that of like a ghost also could be like there's some sort of non-linear time situation where like maybe yourself in 50 years that in a future that hasn't happened yet like arrives to like speak to you and tell you what's gonna happen to you or something like that, like you're haunting yourself in a way. And this is this image that we had when she was singing the vocal, that we had this image of like laying in bed and then you know, like this ghost from the future kind of appearing and saying, listen, you know, what are you doing right now? It's time to, you gotta snap out of this and wake up. You're great. You're gonna be all right. And this is, your life's happening right now. And it was, you know, one of those moments where we just turned the lights down really low and, you know, sang the vocal through really like one time. And it was just, you know, we spent so much time getting into that mindset, and I really feel that every time I listen back to that track. It's a beautiful mood, and it's the texture is really dense, and I don't know, it's a cool collaboration. It's one of those songs that I don't remember writing. I don't actually remember playing any music on it either. I don't remember when it happened. I remember when she did the vocal, but I don't remember making the music, but obviously I did. So it's something mysterious to me about it. I can listen back like it's almost like someone else's record or something.
That makes it sound even more ghostly.
Yeah, of course. There you go.
All right, so we're going to listen to Reappear. That's Ben from School of Seven Bells. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Benjamin Curtis from School of Seven Bells, and you're listening to The Interview Show with Scott Wood.
Into the